Howdy doody, folks. How's it going? One second, I need to double check something here to make sure I'm streaming correctly. Hey, looks like I am. Okay. I guess that's fine. Not exactly how I planned it. So, new week, new chapter available. Let's get this shit started, boys. And while we do so, we're going to have a little bit of music. It's going to get claimed. Who cares? I mean, so, actually, because you guys are so fun, gonna have a bit of chit chat about the wonderful world of Warcraft and what we've experienced. What we have experienced as a player. So, we finished up the. Okay, what do we got here? We got meat, skinning, meat. Okay, so we will take on. Oh shit. This seems tough, guys. We'll take this on with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. This 7:30, Nemia and Hollow will survive. Which that's fine. It's only 3 hours and 22 minutes. There we go. And then we will take this final one and front load it with everybody we got. Yeah, okay. So, I've played WoW for a long, long time, guys. I didn't play since vanilla, but I have played since the wonderful time of well, I'll have to save that later. Oh shit. Do I have all the shards now? When I killed Sylvanas, I got the last shard, I guess. Okay, whatever. Yay, I have full domination gear. Such an interesting system. There's a couple moments that kind of stick in my mind when we talk about playing World of Warcraft, right? And one of those moments is when I was playing. It's Venthyr Assault. That's not okay. Sorry. I was playing back in Mist of Pandaria? Yeah, Mist of Pandaria. And I had just moved to what is supposed to be like, super great rating, right? Raid Guild. That recruited me in trade chat, which is the first big red flag. It's trade chat recruitment. And Cat, you probably want to go outside. Get into the raid. Immediately, you can tell they don't know what they're doing, right? But that's not all. You see, this raid is really just kind of like a second raid for some of the other people. And I didn't know this. I didn't really, like, get this vibe until it was pointed out to me. Because when we first started, it's like, okay, let's do Mogushan vaults and get everyone, like, situated together. And that was a good idea. Get everyone, to know each other, all that stuff. The problem came when Mogushan vaults was progression. And then we went through that progression. Oh, really? Oh, it's a fucking robe, dude. What's with leather and robes? It's stupid. Stop giving us robes. Anyways. Okay, no, I don't have enough. I've only got 4 quests in this area. Sorry. Anyways, Bros, where's all my quests? You normally give me more. What the fuck? I've only got 4 today? Okay. I am on my monk, right? Whatever. We get to the point where it's like, okay, we've cleared Mogushan vaults, or we get to Elagon Night 1 or whatever. And then a couple of the players stop showing up. Specifically the girl that's supposed to be the raid leader and her boyfriend. Which, by the way, some of the most fun I've ever had have been with those people. And they are just the best. Huh. This takes me through a different way, I guess. Why? Apparently it doesn't, though. I just pull all these guys for nothing? I guess so. Anyways, like, oh, well, why are you guys still doing this? Like, oh, well, we figured it would be good for progression. The guy pointed out, was like, I mean, that's not really it. The reason why we suggested you guys do this is just so we get more, like, used to each other when raiding, and I never understood that, right? Well, as it turns out, it was because there was a second raid team. Now, this second raid team is nothing to really write home about. That's not even me being pretentious. Like, this second raid team was shit. It had a Mistweaver Monk, which at the time could do 20k DPS and 20k HPS. Neither, like, that was playing it wrong. And, they stopped raiding near the end of Throne of Thunder. What this group was able to do was to get to 10-man Horadon. So they managed to defeat the first boss, Zolrock the Breaker, on 10-man. And they couldn't get past it, right? So what our group was like a secondary group. Now, these raiders were shit. And again, I'm not amazing, but if there is a boss that requires a mechanic like the turtles on Tordos, and I am a hunter, which is one of the better classes to do it, I do not simply go, oh yeah, I'm not going to do that. So you can kind of guess why the wonderful players that were with them all quit. I wish I did. I mean, I already didn't like this dude, but it was more for a very selfish loot horror reason, because we were doing Throne of Thunder. We killed the first boss and a Thunder Forge ring drop. What did this motherfucker do? Well, he decided, and it was decided via the loot rules, I guess, that he needed it. He waited to roll till he bonus rolled gear, and then he's like, yeah, I need this. It's like, no, bitch, you don't. Maybe the tank needs gear. And that wasn't even like the end of it, you know. Because it happened again with another member of that guild, and it was later on. We were doing what's his face? Okay, wait, bro. Wait. Old tricks work best. Okay. There we go. We were doing one of the further bosses, and a two-hander dropped, right? And we were, I think, Thunder Forge was like 618, 518, something like that. It was something that ended in 18. And it's like, okay. The tank, like, he asked if he could roll on it, which was weird. It's like, dude, roll on it. It's an upgrade. You're able to roll. And he rolled on it against Far, who was this, like, really just shitty fucking paladin. And I'll tell you why he was shitty. But we're not there yet. So it went to Far. And it's like, oh, you know, it's a big upgrade for me. It wasn't. It was like a 2-item level upgrade. Compared to the fucking tank, who it was a huge upgrade for, because it had better stats, and, you know, it was just a huge upgrade. Back when item level would determine what you were wearing, because everything had ways to boost it via things like gem sockets and everything. But, you know, Al was Al, so he didn't really think too much of it. We eventually get to the point where we've almost cleared this fucking raid in one night. And we've had issues clearing this fucking raid in one night. And I don't like the issues that we have clearing it in one night, because there never should have been issues. But I only notice that now. After like years and years of being in bad guilds and bad groups, I only ever realize, you know, that now I was in these really shitty groups. And, you know, it is what it is. But, okay, so tis not there, tis not there. We fast forward again. We bring in my brother-in-law because, you know, he filled spots that the raid leader's friends weren't there to fill because they skipped out. They would barely show up to raid. And there would be excuses like, well, there was a car show, well, there's this, there's that. And Far was feeding all sorts of excuses for these people. And Frank, dude, like, if you place him in front of a fucking game, he does great at it. Like, he's insane. Because he was outgeared heavily by all of our freaking raid team, and he was still able to pull numbers. The problem wasn't with him. The problem ended up being with the raid team. Because when we got to Lei Shen, when we were on that heavy progression, we got told that Frank wouldn't be allowed with us because they weren't going to kick somebody who'd been there. And I thought, yeah, you know, I thought it was bullshit, because it was bullshit. But that was back in the days of Open Raid. And Open Raid, I hate that it's like not nothing anymore. I don't know if it's still up or not. But that was the single best way for you to find a pug in the days of Miss Pandaria and that long ass drought, was Open Raid. And I don't know, man. It just threw me at one point. Because when you start not letting people in and all that, then okay. But then you start bringing people who were never there from the first place, and they don't show up all the time. I didn't appreciate that. Frank didn't appreciate that. But it, you know, it was there, sadly. And did that not give me any credit? Fuck you too, game. So we fast forward. Because it was very interesting that once we were at the same progression as these people's main group, like, they were more interested in showing up. And Siege of Orgrimmar came out. Now, I can guarantee you that these people had stopped playing the game. They'd stopped trying to raid. Found out why. Their raid team imploded because they couldn't get enough people to carry them. Also, it didn't help that Ugly, the hunter, who we weren't going to kick for Frank, even though he refused to do mechanics, like on Tordos, he's like, oh, I'm not going to do any mechanics. We kicked him. Eventually. No, wait. Was Ugly kicked? No, he left because he got reported. And he got banned. Now, why would this wonderful person who never did anything wrong ever get banned? The answer might surprise you. As it turns out, Mr. Ugly had, he'd been botting, which is how he made all his gold, which I believe, but, you know, apparently that's not entirely believable for some people, which, whatever. He got banned for botting. And who are you? Spooky Tooth. Okay. Anyway, he got banned for botting, and people were wondering, was like, oh, well, are you sure? He's like, oh. And here's the story that his friend was telling people. He wasn't actually botting. What had happened was people had teamed up, and they had gotten a hold of a GM and paid the GM off to get him banned. I shit you not, this was the reasoning that these guys gave, was that he pissed off people, so they all paid off a GM. And I mean, I joked in trade chat one night about, yeah, we're all gonna unite against him, because I was told, it's like, hey, posting stuff up on the AH is pointless, because what he'll do is he will buy it and undercut you. He'll relist it for less, or relist it for more. Yeah, no, he'll relist it for more, so buying was pointless because of this. And if you're a normal person, when talk like this happens, you're just like, okay, so what you're saying is, if I post this stuff on the auction house, people will buy it. I don't care, like, who buys it. It's just literally, this person will buy it. Okay, apparently that was his super secret strategy. But yeah, he sold gold, guarantee it. He sold gold, bought gold, did whatever. He got banned. He deserved it. Frank was brought in, and you know, him being back wasn't a big, like, good thing from the eyes of some people, specifically Far, because now his boyfriend Ugly was no longer in the raid group. And I'm thinking this was around the time Blood tried to join. And Blood, by the way, Blood is the best tank, man. Like, Blood is the best tank that they have ever seen, right? He's the best paladin tank that they ever saw. So it's like, okay, yeah, sure, best tank that you've ever seen. Let's see how that works. Like, okay, dude. And we were doing everything over Skype, which was always weird. I was like, okay, dude. This is Immersius. The tank mechanic is to not stand in shit and taunt. This dude could not do that. He did not taunt and died, and then he stood in shit and died. And the excuse was he'd never seen it before, so he didn't know what was killing him. That excuse was good enough for the raid leader. It was good enough for the raid leader that this guy, who was the best tank that they ever had not noticed the stuff on the floor that was killing him. Because, you know, why would anyone notice that, right? It's crazy to notice. And it's like, you know, maybe he's got a point. You know, we go into protectors. I give that motherfucker the easiest job, right? The easiest job, which is to simply hold on to the dude that splits into three, and then, you know, take these ads when they pop up. I would be doing the one where you have to turn around, otherwise you get stunned. Couldn't do it. At one point, after that boss, did his transition, I was thanking my guy and The two other dudes, he couldn't tank it. I actually first solo tanked Immersius because of this guy. And this is who they wanted to replace Frank with, because we couldn't find another tank. Lo and behold, we found another tank. And we brought Frank in. He did not have his legendary cloak. Other people had their legendary cloaks. The other people who had their legendary cloaks were like Far and, you know, Fern. All these people got their legendary cloaks. And, of course, when Ugly came back, even though we are a one-night-a-week raid team at 2.5 hours a night, we had to spend fucking like an hour to get him his legendary cloak because he couldn't be asked to find a fucking group for the Celestials. So we had to do it. Which was shit, by the way. I don't care what anyone says, that was shit, and that was always shit, and I fucking hated it. But, you know, we had to do what we had to do. Oh, I see, it's the invasive mushrooms. That's cool. We brought Frank in. Now, Farr did not like the fact that we had Frank, because Frank was pretty undergeared. Here's the thing about Frank being undergeared. He was still a badass. In fact, if I could still play with him, man, I would. He was a great fucking player. I don't know if he plays Final Fantasy or not, but like I fucking love the dude. He in an undergeared rogue, and I mean undergeared, like he wouldn't get gear from the raid bosses that we were killing. He had out DPS'd a paladin with the legendary cloak. That shouldn't be happening. I'm telling you that right now. You should not be able to out DPS anybody with their legendary cloak. I know it's only a proc, so it's not like you really have control over it, but he was really undergeared, guys. Like, and you might wonder, like, if he's so undergeared, how did he get into the raid? Very easy answer: open raid. Open raid allowed Frank to gear up his rogue. He had killed Lei Shen multiple times before our raid had. Like, the people who kicked him out because, oh, well, we need these other people. Yeah, he out-progressed us just through open raid. And you know what? More power to him, because that was around the time that I started noticing the, like, big issues with the raid team. And it's like, okay. But we continued. We brought him in. He was doing DPS. Then they started talking about how tanks were doing it wrong. And one of our old tanks came back a night. For a single night, right? We were stuck on being able to get past Galacrass. Now, if you ask anyone who knows anything about the game, the reason why we were having issues with Galacrass was because of our DPS. If you ask our DPS and our raid leader at the time why we were having issues with Galacrass, it was because I was crit as a tank, and tanks did not need crit. I shit you not, that is the reason that they give. because I was a brewmaster monk and I had a bunch of crit gear. They thought that dodge and parry was the way to go for the monk. It wasn't. Crit was the way to go for the monk. And, you know, that's because of what crit did for monks. But, you know, again, we're not talking about the smartest people, and they had decided, oh, hey, well, while you're doing this, we need to replace you because you're the reason why we're failing. So they were talking about replacing me as tank, which, good on them. I didn't like tanking. I only tanked because it was literally the only way to get anything done. Like me and Al tanking together, aces, because we could communicate. Me and this new guy, no, because he refused to use voice chat. So I had to make a macro for Shah, and you can imagine how Galakron went, or Galakras. And you would think that being limited raid nights, we would want to try and get progression. But we didn't. You know what we did instead of progression? We did flex raids. We did flex raids for gear. We did flex raids because, you know, people wanted to start bringing their alts. Which, according to the raid leader, was fine. It was okay for them to do that. And then they're like, okay, well, we need a new tank because Zan can't tank. So they replaced me with Frank. Frank, leveled warrior, geared warrior, managed tank. He did not have his legendary cloak. He literally got his legendary cloak on his rogue the week before they had decided to make him a tank. Because our DK raid leader would not tank. That didn't stop him from taking a two-hander that has to have been a world drop, right? Like, it has to have been a world drop. I'm fairly certain it dropped off protectors. From Al, when Al, like, was tanking for us. And you can tell when people start messing around with loot rules. Like, this is one of the reasons why personal loot exists. I don't think personal loot was the right solution to this problem. But oh, instead of gold I got that. Okay, that might be why. But he told Al, our tank, that he could not have the two-handed weapon because he, as a DK, was checking about whether or not it would possibly be an upgrade for him, and Al had already used his main spec role. And if that doesn't make sense to you, congratulations! You're smart. Because that doesn't make sense. That shouldn't have been a thing. But it was. It was a thing. And it was shit. What they did was shitty. There's no getting around that. And that's one of the reasons why Al stopped playing. Originally it was because he did have health issues. The dude wouldn't move a lot. He has issues with his kidneys already. So, like, he was in a lot of pain. And when Fern heard that, he's like, sure. Well, I'll tell you something right now. Al isn't the kind of player that would quit just to quit, unlike everyone that you played with. And it's really shitty to treat a player like that. when they decide to tank for you because you're too lazy to roll a tank spec. Even though I asked you about that two-handed weapon the next week, and you're like, well, I'm gonna see if it's an upgrade for my off spec. Fuck you too. I do not like any of the people that I played with back then. Like, even looking back, right? Versago was always a dick. Jay was the only good player, and the only player who knew what the fuck he was doing. Fern was a dick. Far, mega dick. Hannah, she was a dick. She was a dick. She was helpful sometimes, right? Like, this one girl I was dating was getting pissed off because Fern had decided in his almighty wisdom that what he was going to do was troll her in LFR and pull everything. And while we didn't wipe, she left the instance group. And it's like, okay. And I tanked for her team on what would now be considered mythic, but it was like 10-man heroic. And I got them progression, which was always fun to hear. And always fun to see as well, by the way. If there weren't so many high-level mobs around, I'd be able to pull this. So let's cheat. Fuck! It filled. Fuck. Ah! Yulva. Crap. Question is, will Yulva be up on their realm? The answer is no. I will eventually kill Yulva, and then I will get the key. But the big thing was, you know, they like I tanked for, because, you know, they called me a shit tank, and I wasn't gonna be there for that weekend's raid anyways. And they're like, oh hey, do you want to come tank for us? Like, not really a tank, but okay. So I tanked for them. I really wish the achievements didn't pop in guild chat, because Versago saw that. Versago saw that, and according to Versago, I had betrayed the guild, because I dared to go tank for a heroic run on a night that, like, we weren't raiding. We raid one night a week. And I already told him, I was like, guys, I won't be able to make it. And so later, they were talking about replacing me. And I find it funny, because their talk about replacing me, they had a vote, which included Frank, and they're like, oh, you know, if we replace him, you know, we might lose Frank. And my thing was like, no, if you guys replace me, that's fine. I have another raid team I can do. I eventually did leave that mythic raid team and just stuck with them, because that mythic raid team was shit, in the sense that it let players talk down to other players and be protected simply by the fact that they were a healer. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. That was really shit, by the way. Um, and so I went back, and they didn't replace me. They didn't replace me because these people that I thought were like mostly on my side, they didn't. They didn't like vote to keep me. The only person that voted to keep me was the guy whose friend would have replaced me, which I find fucking hilarious. And no wait, there were only two people that voted to kick me, which were the two people that I was like, okay, I'll like I can keep them as like my buddies and shit like that. And they're like, oh yeah, no, kick him out. He's shit. It's like, well, fuck you too, bud. And it is what it is. Like I said, that group was a very shit group. But it was my shit group, Do I even want to do the Venthyr Assault? The Venthyr Assault seems like it might be too much pain in the ass. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find rares and kill rares. Don't need to kill you, Borgeth. I can kill these dudes that give me 3% each. But I don't know, man. Like, the group was literally just so much shit. So they didn't replace me. I go in, and to try and justify wanting to replace me and replacing me with one of his buddies, because they managed to get progression while I was gone. Right? They got progression with my replacement. Which was a warlock. But they were so wrong on so many levels of what they were doing. Because, Frank didn't have his legendary cloak yet. So he was the reason why they were wiping. This group could not handle 2 tanking shamans and 10-man normal. So they went to 3 tank shamans. 3 tanking shamans with 3 healers. Which is just funny. It's not funny? When one of those healers is constantly trying to kill me. Because what Far would do is he would get the poison tower and he would walk it over to me every fucking time. To the point where I got on Skype, I'm like, oh, hey, thanks for, leading that over me, dude, because that gives me a DPS increase. And after that, like, he stopped. And I had a DPS requirement, because, I wasn't doing enough, apparently, and then I was doing too much, and I caused us to, phase protectors too quickly, and then I got placed at the very bottom row of going in on Norushen, which was fine because they didn't realize that there was an extra portal on Norushen, and they placed me below the fucking tank's girlfriend on going in. It's like, oh, you know what, I did it anyways. And they called me out. They're like, oh, why'd you go down? I was like, oh, dude, sorry, I just did this on heroic. I fucking spaced. I'm sorry. Because, fuck them, right? Fuck them. They were trying to make me feel like a shitty player just so they could feel better. And I don't do that shit. Because I was literally like the best player outside of fucking J-Lock. And I wouldn't even really consider him a good player. But, you know, whatever. And that was shown through the fucking DPS requirements. Oh, you know, I had a DPS requirement that would place me above all the other DPS in terms of numbers. And the reasoning was I couldn't fucking tell you because I was never given a reason. I'm guessing it's because they were going to say something like, well, we need to know that you can do DPS or some shit like that. And, like, you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them hardcore. Because I'd shown that I was able to do DPS. You know how I showed I was able to do DPS? Because I fucking out DPS'd them. Every fight. And it wasn't even close. I did over 30% of the damage on fucking protectors. I'm like, oh, it's your fault that we phased early. When, you know what I was doing on protectors? I was interrupting. Yeah, it's my fault we phased early. I was interrupting. No, what happened was you saw me high on the meters and you wanted to fucking compete with me. So you decided that you had to pop all your shit, and that's what got us to go. It wasn't just me. And I know it wasn't fucking just me. Because that was bullshit. In every sense of that word. And I will call them out on that shit every chance I have, because that... Nah, dude. Nah. Where did I die? Okay, I died over there. But, you know, they wanted to replace me. They couldn't replace me. Then we had an issue about farm bosses. Because you see, Frank did not have his legendary cloak. So, Frank should not be tanking Thok. Because we need all of the gear from the previous bosses to be able to kill the current bosses that we are doing. How do I know this? Because I was told this. I was told this by Far himself. And Far knew better. I mean, Far knew how it worked. I should not question him, for he is an officer. I was never made officer. I was literally, like, officer didn't mean shit in that guild, let's be honest. I was the only one in the 10-man raid team that wasn't an officer. Arandian and his girlfriend were both officers. But I don't know, dude. Like, that was a fun thing to see. Oh shit, I need to go to my vault too, don't I? I didn't do any Mythic Plus last week. I can't help it. I wasn't, like, fucking feeling it. I had to do shit. Let's go do the vault. But, you know, I don't know, man. They were shit. They were shit. Let's face it, they were. That's how it was. We moved forward, I guess would be the best way to say it. But we had to create a team 2. A team 2 to help gear Frank up. and help get people any offset pieces that they want. Like, like the offhand that Farr wanted. I mean, he needed that, right? He needed it. Let's be honest. He needed it. Motherfucker. Ooh, it's got a socket. Okay. Avoidance, though. Okay, you know what? Let's just... because I have really powerful fucking trinkets right now. Tormented Rack Fragment. Where's the ocular gland? Ocular gland 239 is about 5.99% of my DPS. Tormented Rack Fragment is about 5.75% of my DPS. And has avoidance, which is great. I don't know, man. This is actually tough because that's got a socket, but trinket. We'll go with that just because. It's just because I know that I'll be getting that shit later. Because this is kind of a pain in the ass on progression. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the extra versatility that it gives me, because, like, what, 24% versatility? That's like 3% versatility. Fucking aces. I'll save the inscrutable quantum device, because fuck me, is that, like, a lot of DPS. But I won't have it on. So anyways, back to the story. They were talking about how we needed Group 2. And it's like, okay, Group 2, whatever. To gear up Frank, right? Kill the first boss. An upgrade for Frank drops. No, we have to give it to the other tank, so we can tank later bosses. This was literally all to get Farr a fucking offhand off of Shamans, because people wanted to extend the lockout. Because we could not do all of... we could not do all of Siege of Orgrimmar in one night. We just couldn't. So I can't even remember if we flasked. I remember I was pre-potting. I loved pre-potting in that fight. But we couldn't do it. We just couldn't. There was no way to do what we needed to do while also having the other crap we had to deal with. And Farr was threatening to leave. And so we had Group 2. Now Farr said it was because Frank couldn't tank anything. And that pissed Frank right off. And I don't blame him. I would have been pissed off too. And witness the end of the Battle of Torghast. You did. We did our job, guys. What the fuck were you doing? I have, like, hid myself away from all the spoilers for after this raid. I saw this cutscene in raid, by the way. Sylvanas, good fight. Good fight. Oh, guys. This was total surprise. Total surprise, guys. Okay. Yeah, but this is literally what he's been doing, woman. Why? I still think that he's a double agent. I think that Anduin is a double agent. Banshee arrow. Wow, dude, it's almost like if you would have paid attention to the fucking... Oh my god. You have been! See, she keeps looking over at Anduin. It's gotta be a double agent situation, bro. Yeah. Oh, look. Oh, guys, part of her soul that Frostmourne took. She, yeah, it's not her fault. All the bad shit she did, her soul was taken. I feel like Anduin left that on purpose, dude. I feel like he's a double agent. Okay, you see, guys? It's the Ranger General back. She's back again. Yeah, not that Thrall would really, know anything about that. Yes! Yes! Motherfucker! Double agent? Double agent? Double agent. Double agent. Double agent! Double agent. Double agent. Wait, is he dead? Is Anduin dead? What sacrifice did you make? What, Nathanos? Okay, so he's not a double agent. So Sylvanas is an evil bitch. Can we all just agree on that? Auntie Jaina. Please be his mommy. Speak to the Primus. Primus! Hear that, guys? We're united in purpose. But when we swap covenants, we're betraying them. Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah! Oh, dude. Uther! I love you! So I'm gonna collect that sigil. Hi. A blonde human's collecting these again. Hope that doesn't bring back any traumatic memories. Fuck, dude. This is so bad. Why does that look so cool? Okay, where'd they go? Where'd it go? Was it? Was it really? Yep. Why? Why did you do that? Yeah, you fucked up. I fucking hate you. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Unless they're gonna bring back Argus. I hate this. This is awful. Keeper of Secrets. Stay a while and listen. What? Zareth Mortis? Something about death? Zareth Mortis. Zareth Mortis. That's interesting. She looks different than like every other broker, which is very interesting. Wasn't she mostly blonde at one point? Am I wrong? Or like mirrors, they show us part of ourselves. Ugh. I feel like we're gonna see Arthas. I feel like it's his soul that's inside the sword. Yeah. Yeah, stay a while and listen, bro. Huh. That's fucking interesting. Oh, salvage fusion amplifier might be my next trinket to go after. So, I got this. Okay, Death's Advance gives me that. Corothea gives me that. Renowned Quartermaster gives me that. So I've only got one where I'm not wearing a dress. Okay. Fuck you too. I'll make it work. Dude, fuck this. That was awful. That was awful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but he's not a double agent. He's being dominated. The storytelling for Shadowlands is still shit. What the fuck, guys? The storytelling is still shit. Okay, Renown. Clea's first row of conduits. Why is Clea's getting empowered? Why is Pelagos the last one to get it? Pelagos the first soulbind. Right? Why is he the last one to get this empowerment? Is it because when you guys designed this, you showed that you suck? Is that what this is? Because I'm all for that. I'm all for that. For you guys realizing that you suck. I'm all for that. By the way, just happy with that. Because you garbage. You garbage. Fury strike with clarity. Soon's bond. Coordinated defensive strike with clarity. Okay. Oh, dude. Fuck off. Just. I'm sorry, man. Fuck off. Because I can't do that kind of garbage storytelling. I can't. And it is garbage. And like it's okay that people call it garbage. What did we have for LFR this week? Guardian, Fate Scribe, and KT. How the fuck is Fate Scribe gonna work? How is Fate Scribe gonna work? Assist in moving the Looms of Fate. So the Looms of Fate are still a thing. The looms of fate are still a thing. Oh my god. Wait, what? You can only move them clockwise? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can only move them clockwise. Aces. Fucking aces. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love all of it. Huh. Might need that for healing. Ah, the shoulders are 220! Yes! Oh. Going in there for the shoulders. Maybe. Maybe. Because that domination socket, man. That domination socket adds, like, all the DPS that's lost. But also, the trinket is supposed to be really good, like Relic of the Frozen Wastes. Well, it only does 4.6%, whereas Titanic Ocular Gland is doing about 6, and Tormented Rack Fragment is doing about 6. Okay, that's interesting. But it has really good healing gear. That's a decent tank trinket. I don't know. I don't think I really have a reason to do it on Raid Finder on this guy. You know who I do have a reason to do it on, though? Ha 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 ha! You know who I do have a reason to fucking do it on? Jathus! Consume a lesser weapon! Yes! Oh god, yes! Totally doing that. Totally doing that. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. It's got decent gear all around, and it's got the other headpiece. Bro. Can we just, like, talk for a minute? I'm doing all this on my paladin. What's it got for the shaman? It got anything super interesting for the shaman? Well, that's a healing trinket. That's an enhanced trinket. Crit haste? Okay, that's not too bad. 220 one-hander. Sylvanas is going to be the one where it's like, you know... Okay, Sylvanas is going to be really fucking interesting in LFR. But... fuck. So anyways, back to the drama story. The wonderful drama that everyone gets to take part in Aquitus Verdus was, you know, they tried replacing me because the DPS. Far wanted the offhand weapon. Far eventually got the offhand weapon. Thrantiok in a Trial of Wisdom. Mad Mortimer. Oh, fuck. I hate Mad Mortimer. I hate him. I'm just going to blast through that. But they tried to replace me, and it could never work. Because... Ooh, wait. Do I have the YouTube channel? Do I have the guild channel? No, apparently not. Fuck. That's kind of crap. Anyways, uh, Far would never get that drop. He would never get that drop because that drop would always come out, right? And it would go to the other healers, or someone else would bonus roll it, and that's fine. They only in the alt group they only ever got up to Iron Juggernaut. They never killed shamans in the alt group. We get further, and Frank solo tanks Thok the Bloodthirsty without his legendary cloak. And he tells Far, he's like, so Far, who needed the legendary cloak? And Far's only response is, well, it would have been easier. Where are we? Siege of Argamar. So they got down Thok the Bloodthirsty. Then we went on to Siegecrafter Blackfuse, which is able to be solo tanked, but at that point it was getting people to do the mechanics right, which was a pain in the ass. I think it took 2 weeks for us to kill him. At this point, everyone's already fully geared in normal gear through stuff like bonus rolls. So Raid Finder 38. Okay, so 42. So we were getting heroic level gear from him almost, right? Almost. But I swear, dude, there was a two-hander that dropped off of one of the early bosses, or maybe it was a world drop. Because I don't think it was the gaze. I don't think that it was the Great Sword of Pride's Fall. I don't think it was that. I think it was a world drop. But Far was upset that he never got it, and at this point, Fern's like, dude, I don't care. I'll just heal on my shaman because my shaman does more healing than Far does on his shaman. Because Far swapped a healer instead of being a DPS because we needed a healer, because we lost the healer, because the healer became the tank, blah, blah, blah. He was shit. Fern earned my respect by calling him on his bullshit. He earned my fucking respect. I missed that. I miss Amplify and Readiness and Multi-Strike. I miss those. But we kill Siege Master, and we then get on to Paragons. I like Paragons. Paragons, fun fight. If you disagree, fuck you. Then we get to Garrosh Hellscream. The almighty Garrosh. And they don't understand how the fight works. So using personals was not only unknown at the time, but I don't think anyone understood how they worked. Because now, this might also be because I was a monk and we had personals out the ass. Oh, is this for the PvP item level increase? Yeah, it looks like it. But we had defensives out the ass. And hey, there you go, bud. What happened mostly was when Garrosh starts to do a spitting thing, I would pop my defensives, so as a melee I wouldn't have to move out. Everyone's like, oh hey guys, we need to get in here so our 3 healers can heal us through it. I got told, like, just shut up and do it. Which I refused, because I didn't need to. We eventually did kill it. And then only Once the heirlooms were guaranteed dropped, did we see ugly again? Because for a while he was with us, and then once he got all the gear that he wanted, he left. Apparently, he did that a lot, and that was okay, according to Fern and them. I never thought that was okay. That was 100% shit. I will say that for the rest of my time, because that's garbage. That's garbage. You don't fucking do that as a raider. You don't show up only when you think you can get something out of it. At that point, that's when you're replaced. But luckily, this guild died in Warlords of Draenor because loot. It was literally loot drama. It was literally fucking loot drama. And it wasn't that someone got ninja looted. It was, you go into Kargath Bladefist. We wiped twice, which you should never do on this boss if you even just read the journal. We wiped twice. A piece of male pants dropped. That's it. One piece. One piece of male pants. It was called out in Skype. Raid warning. What else was there? There was Skype. There was raid warning. There was vent. There was raid chat. It was called out multiple times that they were rolling for it. And it's like, okay, well, no one wants it. This motherfucker comes in and decides to be like, I didn't know we were rolling on it. It's like, how did you not know? Like, it was mentioned multiple times. Well, I mean, we're all in a guild. We're all friends. We should wait. And the dude that won it's like, do you want it? No, it's okay. It's okay. I understand. Apparently you don't fucking understand because you're bitching about it. I just think that, you know, since we're guild mates, we should be able to do this together. Dick, by the way. Absolute dick. I'm gonna wait for her life to be over, but oh, you know what? That chest plate might go really well with the regalia. So let's look that up, right? I think that would go good with it. I think that would be fine, you know? I still have to change the shoulders, but I don't think the chest piece is too out of place. Okay. Still, fuck you guys for the story and for not giving us the option. Because it was sold as that, wasn't it? It was sold as... Dude, I have to look this up. I have to look this up. Because, bro... It is! It is! The actual fuck. You're supposed to be able to have this color scheme in pants. Why the fuck can't you have that in pants? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No, I'm done, dude. I'm done. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm outie. I gotta go do shit, actually. But, yeah, after that moment in Warlords of Draenor, the guild just stopped raiding. And I don't think I've ever found anything bad with that. Because the guild was just absolute garbage. I don't think anyone can argue that it was absolute garbage. Because it... God, I hated that raid team. I hated that raid team so much. It's not even the most drama-filled raid team I've been in, but those people, they were garbage players. Luckily, I moved on to CTR, and, I'm in a now mythic raid team, so yay. We're probably, honestly, with our current progression and how we're doing everything, we are going to hit mythic in maybe a month or so, because I see us getting Guardian down this week.